My wife transferred $1 million and left me with nothing. The perfect life. In 2026, Atlanta was alive with lights, dreams, and ambition. Daniel Carter stood by the glass window of his penthouse apartment, watching the city glow beneath him. At 39, he had built everything from scratch: his tech company, his reputation, his family. Behind him, laughter filled the living room. His wife, Maya Carter, sat on the couch scrolling through her phone, while their 8-year-old daughter, Zoe, played with her toys on the carpet. "Daddy!" Zoe shouted happily. "Look at my drawing." Daniel smiled and walked toward her. "You're getting better every day," he said softly. Maya looked up briefly and smiled too. To the world, they were the perfect family. But beneath the smiles, something invisible was slowly breaking. The change started quietly. Maya became distant. She stopped talking during dinner. She locked her phone with passwords Daniel had never seen before. She began traveling more for business meetings. One night, Daniel asked gently, "Are you okay, Maya?" She forced a smile. "I'm fine. Just tired." But Daniel felt it. Something was wrong. Still, he ignored his instincts. Because love sometimes blinds the smartest people. Daniel's company had just closed a major deal. $1 million had been deposited into their joint savings account. That night, he told Maya excitedly, "We did it. This money will secure our future." Maya nodded quietly. But her eyes were not happy. They were calculating. 3 days later, Daniel woke up early. He picked up his phone to check the bank app. His heart stopped. Balance: $0. He refreshed the page. Still zero. His hands started shaking. Then he saw the transaction history. Transfer: $1 million. Completed. Recipient: unknown account. Daniel jumped out of bed. "Maya!" he shouted. But the bedroom was empty. Her clothes were gone. Her suitcase was gone. Her jewelry was gone. Only a single envelope lay on the bed. He opened it with trembling hands. Inside was a short note. "I'm sorry, Daniel. I can't live this life anymore. Don't look for me." Daniel dropped the paper. His world collapsed in seconds. Daniel called Maya. No answer. He called again. Still nothing. He tried her friends. They knew nothing. He tried her family. They avoided him. That night, he sat alone in the living room. Zoe slept in her room, unaware that her family had just been destroyed. Daniel whispered to himself, "How could she do this to us?" The silence of the apartment was louder than any scream. The next day, Daniel went to the bank. The manager looked uncomfortable. "Sir," she said carefully, "the transfer was legal. Your wife had full access to the account." Daniel felt dizzy. "So, there's nothing I can do?" She shook her head slowly. He walked out of the bank like a man who had lost his soul. But deep inside him, a question began to burn. Why did Maya really leave? That night, Daniel received a message on Instagram from an unknown account. "You deserve to know the truth about your wife." His heart pounded. He replied immediately. "Who are you?" The reply came seconds later. "Someone who knows what Maya has been hiding from you." The stranger sent photos. Photos of Maya. With another man. Not once. Not twice. But many times. Different locations. Hotels. Restaurants. Private jets. Daniel felt sick. The stranger wrote, "She didn't just take your money. She planned everything for years." Daniel stared at the screen. The woman he loved was no longer the woman he knew. The next morning, Zoe asked softly, "Daddy, where is Mommy?" Daniel froze. He knelt beside her. "She had to travel for work," he lied gently. Zoe looked down. "Will she come back?" Daniel couldn't answer. He hugged his daughter tightly. Inside his heart, something broke forever. Daniel made a decision. He would not cry forever. He would find Maya. Not for revenge, but for the truth. He hired a private investigator. He reopened old memories. He began to dig into his wife's past. And what he discovered shocked him beyond imagination. 3 days after Daniel hired the private investigator, Mr. Harris, the man called him. "We need to talk in person," Harris said over the phone. Daniel felt his chest tighten. "Is it that serious?" "Yes," Harris replied. They met in a quiet cafe in downtown Atlanta. Harris placed a brown envelope on the table. "Your wife didn't just leave recently," he said calmly. "She has been preparing for this for over 2 years." Daniel swallowed hard. Inside the envelope were documents. Maya had opened several bank accounts under different names. She had registered a small company in another state. She had even rented an apartment secretly. Daniel whispered. "So, she planned to abandon us?" Harris nodded slowly. Daniel felt like someone had ripped his heart out. Harris continued, "There is someone else involved." Daniel's eyes widened. "Who?" Harris slid a photo across the table. A tall, handsome man stood beside Maya. He looked confident, rich, powerful. "His name is Victor Hale," Harris said. "He's a financial consultant. But his background is questionable." Daniel clenched his fists. "So she didn't act alone?" "No," Harris replied. "She had help." That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. He remembered how Maya had changed. The late-night calls. The sudden luxury taste. The emotional distance. He realized he had ignored everything. He whispered bitterly, "I thought love was enough." But love had not saved him. At midnight, Daniel's phone rang. Unknown number. He hesitated, then answered. "Daniel," a familiar voice said softly. It was Maya. His heart stopped. "Maya, where are you?" Silence. Then she said quietly, "I never wanted to hurt you." Daniel laughed bitterly. "You took everything from me." Her voice trembled. "You don't understand." "Then explain." Daniel shouted. But the line went dead. Daniel stared at the phone. For the first time, he realized Maya was afraid. The next morning, Harris visited Daniel again. "There's something else," he said seriously. He showed Daniel a document. Victor Hale was linked to several financial fraud cases. Some people who worked with him had disappeared mysteriously. Daniel felt a chill. "So Maya is involved with a criminal?" Harris nodded slowly. "Yes. And that means you and your daughter may be in danger." Daniel's blood ran cold. This was no longer just betrayal. It was war. Harris tracked Maya's secret apartment. Daniel insisted on going with him. They stood outside a modern building in Chicago. Daniel's hands trembled as he knocked on the door. No answer. Harris unlocked the door using legal access. Inside, the apartment was clean. Too clean. Like someone had just left. On the table, Daniel found a photo. Maya and Victor. But behind the photo was a handwritten note. "If you find this, it means I failed to escape." Daniel felt his heart race. Escape from who? Back in Atlanta, Zoe began having nightmares. One night, she woke up crying. "Daddy, Mommy is calling me in my dream," she said in fear. Daniel hugged her tightly. "She's fine," he lied again. But deep inside, he felt something terrible was coming. One afternoon, Daniel met his old friend, Marcus Lee, a lawyer. Marcus listened quietly to everything. "This is bigger than divorce," Marcus said seriously. "This is financial crime and possible human trafficking of money." Daniel stared at him. Marcus added, "If Victor Hale is involved, you need legal protection immediately." Daniel realized his life had turned into a thriller movie. But this was real. And there was no escape. Harris called again. "We found something," he said. "What?" "Maya's old storage unit." Inside the unit, They found boxes. Among them was a diary. Daniel opened it with shaking hands. The first page read, "I love Daniel, but I'm trapped in a world he doesn't understand." Daniel felt tears burn his eyes. He turned the pages, and the truth was darker than he imagined. The diary revealed everything. Maya had met Victor years ago during a business seminar. At first, he helped her with investments. Then he began controlling her. He introduced her to illegal financial schemes. When she tried to leave, he threatened her. Threatened her family. Threatened Zoe. One line in the diary broke Daniel completely. "If I don't obey Victor," he said, "Daniel will lose everything." Daniel dropped the diary. For the first time, he realized something painful. Maybe Maya was not just a traitor. Maybe she was also a victim. Daniel sat alone in his living room, staring at Maya's diary. The words felt heavier than stones. For days, he had believed Maya was a heartless betrayer. But now, doubt filled his mind. What if she was forced? He whispered. He remembered her voice during the phone call, afraid, shaking, almost broken. Suddenly, the story was no longer simple. It was no longer just about money. It was about fear. It was about survival. Marcus, Daniel's lawyer friend, dug deeper into Victor Hale's background. "What I found is disturbing," Marcus said over the phone. They met in Marcus's office. Victor Hale was not just a financial consultant. He was connected to underground investment rings, money laundering networks, and powerful people who never appeared in public records. "Victor doesn't just manipulate money," Marcus said quietly. "He manipulates people." Daniel felt a cold wave run through his body. So Maya was trapped in his world? Marcus nodded. And once someone enters that world, leaving is almost impossible. Late one night, Daniel received another message. From Maya. "Please don't look for me anymore. If you do, he will destroy you." Daniel typed back immediately. "Who is he? Where are you? I can help you." Minutes passed. Then her reply came. "You can't fight him, Daniel. He already owns everything." Daniel stared at the screen. For the first time in his life, he felt powerless. 2 days later, someone knocked on Daniel's door. When he opened it, his heart stopped. Maya stood there. She looked thinner. Her eyes were tired. Her confidence was gone. "Maya," Daniel whispered. She stepped inside quietly. "I can't stay long," she said softly. Zoe ran out of her room. "Mommy." Maya knelt and hugged her tightly, tears falling freely. Daniel watched them, his heart torn between anger and love. After Zoe returned to her room, Maya turned to Daniel. "I never wanted to hurt you," she said. Daniel's voice shook. "Then why did you take the money and leave us?" Maya looked down. "Because if I didn't, we would all be dead." Maya told him everything. Years ago, Victor approached her with an investment opportunity. At first, it was legal. Then slowly, he pulled her into illegal financial deals. When she tried to quit, Victor threatened her. He showed her photos of Daniel and Zoe. "He told me he could erase your life with one phone call," Maya said, crying. Daniel felt his chest burn. "So you stole the money to protect us?" Maya nodded slowly. "He said if I transferred the money to his account, he would leave you alone." Daniel clenched his fists. "But why didn't you tell me?" Maya looked at him with pain. "Because I was afraid you would fight him and lose your life." Marcus joined them the next day. After listening to Maya's story, he said something shocking. "Victor didn't just want the money," Marcus said. "What else did he want?" Daniel asked. Marcus looked at Maya. He wanted control over Daniel's company. Maya froze. Victor had planned everything. The money was only the beginning. He wanted Daniel's business, reputation, and future. Daniel realized something terrifying. Victor had been watching his life for years. That night, Daniel sat beside Maya. For the first time, they spoke honestly. "I hate what you did," Daniel said quietly. "But I understand why you did it." Maya cried silently. "I thought losing you was better than losing your life," she whispered. Daniel looked at his sleeping daughter. Then he made a decision. "I will not run anymore," he said firmly. "I will fight Victor." Maya looked at him in fear. "You don't understand how dangerous he is." Daniel nodded. "But I understand something else." He looked into her eyes. "If we keep running, he will never stop." Marcus contacted a federal agent he knew. Agent Rebecca Miles listened carefully to Daniel and Maya. "This is serious," she said. Victor Hale was already under investigation, but there was not enough evidence. "If you help us," Rebecca said, "we can bring him down." Maya hesitated. Helping the FBI meant danger, but staying silent meant eternal fear. After a long silence, Maya said quietly, "I'll testify." Daniel squeezed her hand. For the first time in weeks, hope appeared. That night, Daniel's phone rang again. "Unknown number." He answered. Victor's voice came through the line. "Daniel Carter," Victor said calmly. "You're a brave man, but bravery is expensive." Daniel felt chills. "Stay away from my family," Daniel said angrily. Victor laughed softly. "You should have taught your wife how to obey," he said. Daniel shouted, "If you touch my family, I will destroy you." Victor replied quietly, "You already lost everything, Daniel. You just don't know it yet." The call ended. Daniel realized the war had officially begun. The next morning, Daniel woke up with a strange feeling, like something terrible was about to happen. Maya looked nervous. Zoe refused to go to school. "I feel scared," she said softly. Daniel hugged her. "I'm here," he said. But deep inside, he felt the same fear. Outside the house, a black car was parked across the street. The engine was running. Someone was watching. Daniel understood one thing clearly. Victor was not playing anymore, and the next move would change their lives forever. The black car had been parked across the street since morning. Daniel stood by the window, pretending not to notice it, but his instincts screamed danger. "Maya," he said quietly, "don't let Zoe out of your sight today." Maya nodded nervously. When Zoe stepped outside to wait for the school bus, Daniel followed her. Suddenly, the black car door opened. Two men stepped out. They moved fast. Too fast. One of them grabbed Zoe's arm. "Daddy!" she screamed. Daniel ran. He pushed the man hard and pulled Zoe behind him. The second man reached for something in his jacket. Before he could act, a police car turned into the street. The men jumped back into the black car and sped away. Daniel held Zoe tightly. Maya ran toward them, shaking. The fear in her eyes was real. Victor had made his move. Agent Rebecca Miles arrived at Daniel's house that evening. "This confirms what we suspected," she said firmly. "Victor Hale was escalating. He's trying to scare you into silence," she added. Daniel looked at Maya. "We're not backing out," he said. Rebecca nodded. "Good. Because from now on, you're officially under federal protection." For the first time, Daniel felt slightly safe. But he knew safety was temporary. Maya remembered something important. "Victor once forced me to keep copies of financial records," she said. "Where are they?" Daniel asked. "In a cloud account he doesn't know about," she replied. The next episode will be more intriguing and captivating than ever. Stay tuned to find out. Don't forget to subscribe to Mira Wealth Stories. Like, comment, share, and turn on your notification bell so you never miss any of our stories.